and I invested £25,000. Today, that investment is worth £5 million. I invested £25,000. Today, that investment is worth £5 million.
Say hello to our hero, the Hydrogen Energy Release Optimizer. It's powered by hydrogen, the most abundant element in the world. Hydrogen and oxygen are fed into the hero system, where they interact with a secret catalyst to generate heat. This permanent source of heat is flameless and completely safe. Limitless power, zero emissions.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN. Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. And on my channel, I cover crypto, I cover politics, climate change, COVID, I do gold and silver, and this one is overlaps between some of those. And I'm going to tell you what it's about. I am going to be talking about an opportunity that can give potentially really, really high returns on your initial outlay. I make no promises, don't put in any more than you can afford to lose, but it's certainly worth a look. Now, before I continue, before I introduce my guest, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, and Twitter is so good. It's so good. Censorship resistant, free to discuss and debate. Even David Icke is back on Twitter. It's got that good. So you have lots and lots of debates and conversations and all the stuff that YouTube doesn't normally like. This video will go on YouTube. But if you want to see all the other stuff that I do that isn't on YouTube, then please come and follow me on bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey. Also join my official Telegram announcements channel. I'll have the link for that in the description below. Please do comment, share this video, and let's get going. Hey, Alex, thank you so much for making yourself available.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
It is nice to be here. And Alex and I, we have a disclosure to make, which is that we've known each other for a very, very long time, and we are good friends. And this is the second time we're recording this video because I lost the first copy. I lost the first copy, and I'm so sorry. I can't remember the last time that happened. But we recorded 3 videos. One about silver and the value of silver, which I haven't lost, and that'll be going out soon. And then one about where I said to you, take your daughter out of school, home educate her. So those 2 videos I haven't lost. They were recorded with the first video, which we're going to re-record now. We're going to do again properly this time, and I won't lose it. Yeah. So and I understand you, just very quickly, I understand you have taken your daughter out of school. You are home educating her. How's it going?
Since that video that we recorded and since that conversation, we have taken our daughter out of school. She's 14. It's going amazingly well. She is blossoming. She's relaxing and blossoming, just like the Romanian rescue dog that we've had for nearly a year. We've seen a similar journey over that year of that dog, Mimi, really begin to relax. So same thing's happening with our daughter. So thank you.
You're so welcome. School is a bit like prison, and depending upon where you are in the world, and whatever the rules and regulations are in that local jurisdiction you're in, get them out of school, set them free, and they are really, really happy, and they learn a whole lot better just by playing. So I'm thrilled to hear that. That's fabulous. And if people want to know more about home education, they should watch out for the video that I recorded with Alex, which I'll be posting over the next few days. Okay, so Alex, you approached me. You told me about this particular investment with this particular company that you made a few years ago that has done very, very well for you. Do you want to say, without saying what the company is, so we can leave it as a sort of cliffhanger, what your investment was and what it's giving you now, and then we can get into the whole thing and people can find out how they can participate in it should they choose to do so.
Sure. So I was an early investor. A friend let me know about it, and that was just over 20 years ago.
20 years ago?
Yep, 20 years ago. So I was an early investor, and I invested £25,000. Today, that investment is worth £5 million.
That's ridiculous. That's
And-
almost as good as an altcoin.
And most of that gain has come in the last 5 years.
Right. Okay. So
5 years ago,
25,000. Hold on. 25,000 British pounds. 20 years ago.
25,000 British pounds 20 years ago, which 5 years ago was only worth £50,000.
Oh, pathetic. Right.
So
it only doubled in 15 years, right? And then in the last 5 years, it's gone up to 5 million.
Yeah. So it's gone up 100-fold in the last 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
And you know, it's only just beginning.
It's only just beginning. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like, oh, you missed the big thing, you know, the big gain. No, the big gain is because people have begun to realize, they're actually onto something, but not many people. So
okay, so it is an opportunity for people to get in on this early, and at the very, very least, we're going to have links and everything, and I'll let you know how you can find out more about it. At the very, very least, do explore this. And is it people need to put in £25,000 or £50,000 or 5 million to get in?
No, there's no minimum. Well, I suppose there is a minimum. It's a company, so the minimum is to buy one share.
Right.
So you're looking at about £500 for one share.
And how much was one share when you originally went in?
About £2.
Oh my god! Oh my god, that is a definite altcoin. We just need to condense the time, though, right? But this could be better than an altcoin because this actually has some practical use. It's in the real world. So
it is in the real world, and
what is this?
So it's shall I say?
Yeah.
So 20 years ago, the big breakthrough that they actually made it before then, but by the time they got around to the research and development phase and then putting a company around that and then allowing individual investors to invest, that was when I came along. So actually the breakthrough was, you know, years before I invested. And it's in the area of fusion, not hot fusion and not cold fusion, both of which are at least 50 years away from commercialization, but something called muon catalyzed fusion.
Oh, muon catalyzed fusion. I was only talking about that over a cup of tea this morning with the missus.
Please don't ask me any technical questions about it.
Let me tell you all about it. Or your daughter can come and explain.
Suffice to say, it's clean, renewable energy for all. And fusion is not fission, so there's no radioactive material.
Okay.
It's basically the process that happens in the sun. So it's clean, renewable energy, cheap, renewable energy for all. That is
hold on a second. Muon catalytic fusion. So nuclear fission, they break molecules or atoms apart, and that releases energy and radioactivity.
Yes.
Fusion, they're bringing them together. So, for example, you might put hydrogen together with oxygen, and then the outcome is water and energy. And they haven't mastered that yet, right? That's not happening certainly not on a viable scale.
No.
Muon are subatomic particles that's just about as much as I know about them. So there's a way of bringing them together that releases energy and is renewable. And you're saying is one of the processes that happens in the sun.
It's the process that happens in the sun. Okay. It's the fusion process. And when I said, please don't ask me any technical questions, the reason is that if you did, I would look stupid because I don't know. You know, that's not how my brain is wired. I can't even comment. I don't even want to comment on what you've just said.
Yes. I'm making it all up, right? Please don't ask. Just from what you said, muons, I know what they are. I've got an idea. Catalytic, okay, to catalyze.
Muon catalyzed.
Okay, put it together. That's what I think it is, right? But I get it, Alex. Please don't ask me how ZK Snarks, a privacy feature of Pirate Chain, works. I'm a member of the Pirate Chain crew. I have no idea about ZK Snarks. It's been explained to me loads of times. I don't understand it, so I completely get it. But I don't need to know. I don't need to know how a fridge works.
Exactly.
I know how to use the fridge. I don't need to know how a internal combustion engine works, but I know how.
As an investor, I need to know what's the likely outcome. You know, what impact will this have? Well, it's clearly something that the whole world is crying out for.
Yes.
We need alternative energy sources. So this is that. Now, at the time, the company were talking about selling the technology in one job lot to a consortium of governments. It was going to be the British, the American, and the Australian, because it's an Australian company.
Mhm.
And they were talking about, I don't know, 5 trillion as a one-off. They've since decided that that's not their business model. What they're going to do is they're going to sell the heat from the resulting fusion process.
Right.
So it's going to be an income-generating model rather than a one-off capital event.
Right.
The other thing to say is that the fusion technology is such a global game changer and has such ramifications geopolitically for the whole world, but particularly countries that rely on oil or gas for their income, that's it's a big disruptor. And so that's going to take potentially some time to roll out, because it needs entirely new infrastructure, and you're going to have trillions of dollars of stranded assets in the oil and gas industry around the world. So it was a great boon to the company and everyone involved when they stumbled across this other technology, which is a hydrogen-based technology and has more immediate revenue producing potential for the company than the fusion project. So the fusion project is their kind of long-term project, and that's the real game changer. This hydrogen tech that they've stumbled across in the meantime basically means that you can generate industrial levels of heat using hydrogen, and that means that just one example of that is that they can retrofit this hydrogen unit into any coal, oil, or coal-fired power station, and there are tens of thousands of them around the world. They can retrofit it with this unit, and overnight it becomes green. It works on a fraction of the footprint, so it's a much smaller unit, and a fraction of the cost. So they can use all the existing infrastructure and just convert it to this HERO technology. HERO stands for Hydrogen Energy Release Optimizer.
Hydrogen, and okay, so this is another technology. So as well as the muon catalytic fusion, there's the hydrogen energy
Release Optimizer.
Optimizer, the HERO technology, which that can
so
be.
Just to keep it simple, yes, you've got the fusion technology, and now they've got this HERO technology, which is hydrogen based,
which can be retrofitted. Okay.
And HERO is where they are now. They're already rolling it out. They're doing their first commercial. The first commercial application is being rolled out. So they've done a deal. I mean, they've done deals with governments. They've done a deal with the Philippines government, and they've done a deal with the Mars Food Group in Australia, as well as a consortium of 14 other food groups, because the food industry needs heat. So it was they approached the company and said, "We hear about your HERO technology. You know, can we use it? Can we do a deal?"
And this would be used to generate electricity, right? It's
heat.
Heat.
It generates heat.
And then what do you do with the heat?
Well, that's how most of the industrial world runs. It uses electricity to generate heat. But where does that electricity come from? Here, it's coming from a green source. So I can give you a little bit more technical detail on this one.
No need to, right?
Okay.
I just want to get so look, oil and gas and coal, yes, they provide heat, but oil, I mean, runs cars. So what else can you do with this heat? You could heat up a home, you could heat up a factory.
Yeah, but this is we're talking about industry. So industry runs on heat.
Right.
So as well as power stations, which, so you've got oil and coal-fired power stations which generate heat. The food industry needs heat for all. I don't know the technical details of why it needs the heat. I don't have any background in that, but they were one of the first industries to get in touch when they heard about the breakthrough that this company had made, to say, hey, can we be involved in the prototype?
Right. Okay. Yeah. And is it cheaper than the existing hydrocarbon?
Way cheaper.
in terms of like as a fraction? Can you say roughly?
I don't want to say, because I think it depends on the area and what they're using already. But it's let's just leave it at it's way cheaper.
And I can get hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, and it's all over the place. There isn't like, okay, oil is restricted to Saudi Arabia and coal is in England. Hydrogen's all over the place, right? So yes,
and the hydrogen economy is the new big thing. Everyone in alternative energy is talking about hydrogen.
Right.
So it's a supply side. They call it a supply side generator, because it's going to help transform the hydrogen economy.
Right. Okay. And this can be retrofitted not just to power stations, but could it be attached, say, to factories or something?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay. It's basically
that reduces infrastructure costs.
Yeah. Hero is basically a substrate that they coat onto something, and when it's mixed with hydrogen, it heats up to 700 or 800 degrees Celsius within like a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow. Wow.
And the only byproduct is heat and steam.
Steam. Well, steam is really useful.
I think I'm right in saying that it involves steam.
Right.
That might even be wrong.
Okay.
I'm really backing off on anything technical here.
I know, treading on thin ice. I think
there are videos which we can put links to people explaining the technical side of it for people who are minded that way.
Okay, all right. Well, this sounds very, very exciting and innovative and progressive. But is it too good to be true? And how can people check it out?
So I've put together a website which has all the information in it. And if people want to have further information than is in there, then they just get in touch with me and I will send them links, presentations, documents. I've got lots and lots of material. So if someone wants to, do a deep dive into that.
Okay, so they could do that, but why could they do that? Why can't they just go to wherever this stock is listed and find out that through?
Because it's a private company. It's not listed, so there's no publicly available information on the company other than what is on the company's website, or that you can get from a private investor like myself.
Right. Okay. And do they have plans for public listing?
Never. When the original breakthrough was made, they realized that it was so important. It had such, ramifications and was of global importance. And they wanted to make sure that it didn't fall into the wrong hands.
Right. Right. Okay.
If I can.
No, I get it, because it might be like, for example, because this is a threat to the hydrocarbon industry. It could also be a threat to the existing players, the large players within the renewable sector, because you don't need solar panels or wind turbines anymore with this, or the need will be reduced. So in which case, one of those large players could buy up the private company and then disappear it, hide it away.
Exactly. They wanted to make sure that no government, no corporation, no body could have any undue influence. So if they list it, then it's susceptible to a hostile takeover. So it's always going to be a private company.
Okay. Then how come you got shares, and then how can anybody get any shares in this private company?
I got shares because I was told about it, and I applied for the shares. So there's no barrier to someone becoming an investor. It's just that they probably wouldn't know about it because stockbrokers aren't out there peddling it.
Right. Okay.
And it's been fairly unknown until recently. It's sort of gaining traction in the alternative energy world. It will become a global household name, but right now, you could still say that given what they're up to, they're still pretty much under the radar. Right. So you wouldn't necessarily know about them unless you had come across someone who said, "Hey, have you heard about this company?"
Okay, and this company is Star Scientific, and I'm going to have a link to your website if you want to find out more. We'll talk more about it, but also to Star Scientific, right? So people go check it out. But then, how does anybody know this is a private company that it actually does have this technology? That what you're saying is accurate, because either you could have been misled yourself, or you could be misleading us. So how can anybody check it out? How can they verify it?
So for me, when I got involved 20 years ago, I said, okay, I'm interested. What happens now? And I got on a conference call. I met up with someone in London who worked for the company, who showed me lots of documents, lots of photos. I then got on a call with the guy who ran the company, and they gave me various things to check out. How does someone now know? Well, it's all on their website. I mean, they've and it's all on my website. So I do explain where they've come from. I mean, as an investor, I've seen the journey over the last 20 years of where they've come from. We've had meetings, shareholder meetings. So we've met all the people involved. So I know that it's not a scam because I I know the people. I know them now. So I'm sort of part of the family, I guess.
Okay.
But as of 5 years ago, when Hero came along, that sort of changed things, because before then they had to keep things a bit quiet. We were all under strict NDAs and were told not to share information because they didn't want people in the oil and gas industry trying to squash it. Since they've made the breakthrough with Hero, now they're sort of out in the world, and they are promoting themselves, and they've won all sorts of awards. So there's lots of press, there's lots of media articles. Their website is very good at that, actually. It's got all sorts of links. So they're in the press quite a lot. The Australian Prime Minister chose to make an announcement of a funding package, like $500 million funding package, and chose to do the announcement with the news cameras and everything from Star Scientific's facility in New South Wales in Australia. That was last year. So their group global chairman is a founding member of the Hydrogen Council, which was founded in the last couple of years for the burgeoning hydrogen economy. So like I said, they're starting to become well known.
Okay, and then people can, of course, contact the company themselves, and I imagine check it out with the registrar of companies in Australia as well.
Yes.
Be there listed.
Yes.
And then I would say, for anybody watching this, even whether this is a legitimate bona fide company or it isn't, or whatever, whatever it is, don't put in any more than you can afford to lose, and do your own due diligence beforehand. And that's true for whether you're putting money in gold or silver or Bitcoin or anything, really. You do got to check it out, and don't sell your wife, husband, children, underwear for any particular investment. Well,
so I should explain why I'm looking to sell some of my shares.
That was the next thing, right? Because why are you looking to sell if it's so good?
Yeah. So why I'm looking to sell is I've made this huge profit so far. The long-term value in these shares is going to be the income generated from the dividends. That's not to say that the shares won't go up massively in value. They will. But in my view, this is an income generator. Now that they've decided that that's their business model, that really is the value in these shares. So I'm only selling a few. Like I'm not selling. I'm probably selling 5 to 10% of my shares,
right?
Because I want to keep hold of most of them. But I like any good investor should. I want to take some profit, and I want to diversify. So you and I have both spoken about silver. We actually did a video about it. So silver is something that I'm really keen on. I want to buy more silver. So I'm just taking some of my profits from this investment and putting it into silver and other things.
Yeah, and maybe some Bitcoin, and perhaps you'll watch some of Crypto Rich's videos and get into Osmodex and making money from that, which is working out really well. And of course, with your home educating daughter, you and your partner and her, they can go travel around the world, right, as part of a home educating journey.
Exactly.
It's very, very, very nice. Okay, so somebody could go to you to buy the shares, but they could also go to the company. Why don't they just go to the company?
Because the company aren't issuing any more shares. they've had all their funding rounds. They don't need any more money. They are now self-sufficient. So they've released all the capital that they're ever going to release. So if someone wants to buy shares, they now have to go to existing shareholders.
Okay, so then you have to go through you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, what are the
because the company actually probably wants to reduce the number of shareholders rather than increase it. So unlike a company that's looking to float and get more money, raise more money to expand, that's not the way that's not its business model. So its business model is it's released all the capital it's ever going to need to. It's secured all the funding that it's ever going to need to. It's doing joint ventures with people to roll Hero out. So potentially, if someone wanted to invest, let's say it became a global household name, which I fully expect it to, I'm not sure right now whether they would actually be able to invest in the company. If they wanted to, I guess they would have to. There'd be some mechanism where they would say, "I'm looking for some shares in this company. How do I find some?" Right now, there isn't that mechanism. So you basically just have to know someone who is an investor, who is a shareholder, and is willing to sell you some shares.
Right. Okay. But then, how do we know the shares? How are the shares priced if there's no? What's the market mechanism for pricing them?
So the board emails shareholders let's say every 3 months. It's not every 3 months exactly, but it's every now and then. So we get information from the company. For example, when they have their AGM, we're invited to take part, and then they send out a report. They send out regular updates on company progress, but they also send an email when there's been a shift in the share price. And it's not that the company is saying, we're saying this is what the share price is worth. All they do is they send an email out and they say, shares have recently been trading, a number of shares, and they wait until there's a substantial number of shares that have been traded at that level before they send the email, and they say, shares are now trading at 935 Australian dollars. That's the current.
That's the current 935 Australian dollars.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's how we're kept up to date. It does say, that's not a guaranteed price. Shareholders are free to negotiate higher or lower, but we're just letting you know that's the level that shares have been trading at recently.
Right. Okay. Now, so there's no point in anybody contacting Star Scientific themselves because they're not selling any shares. So if somebody wanted shares or they wanted more information, they could go to the Star Scientific, get more information, but you can also provide that information and also give them what they need so that they're able to choose, yes, I want to buy shares, or no, I don't.
Very happy to have a friendly chat with anyone who even wants to find out more about it. There's actually a portal opening that a third party is opening as a mechanism for investors, existing investors, to sell their shares. Excuse me, and that's due to open in the next couple of months.
Right. Okay.
So until that opens, I'm very happy to have a conversation with anyone, and if they want to buy some shares from me, then great. If they don't, that's totally fine. I will just sell as many as I want to when this portal opens.
Right. Okay. So they can get in ahead before the portal opens.
So it's not a pressured thing. I'm not.
No.
Yeah. I'm happy to have
I understand. Yeah.
Happy to have a chat with anyone, and if they want to buy some shares, then great. If not, that's fine.
Okay, we'll come to that in a second. Now, there are there any territorial restrictions? Like, for example, you're in the UK. The company's listed in Australia. Can an American citizen or somebody from France or Germany or India purchase shares?
Yes, there's no restriction from the company, and I don't mind where anyone is. I don't know if there's a restriction, like if someone was in China or North Korea, whether they'll be able to.
Right.
But yeah, there's no restriction from the company or from me. The only restriction that the company has is that they don't really want investment bankers to become shareholders. So if you're someone who runs an investment bank and you're watching this video, I'm really sorry, but yeah, you will. If you're doing it in the investment bank's name, you will probably fail a due diligence test.
Right. Okay. And why would any any decent investment banker watching a crypto channel, right? You should have left investment banking by now and put it all in Bitcoin, gold, and silver, and Pirate Chain and Osmo. Now, so let's say somebody's interested. They go to the website, link below, cr.investgreen.com, I think it is, right? But anyway, I'll have it either. .info, okay. And then they can look through the materials there. They can schedule a call with you.
Yep.
That's available. And then they start having the conversation. You'll provide them with all the information that they need.
Yep.
Are they able to verify that you actually are the owner of the shares or you are an investor by going to the company?
Yes, I can send them a copy of my share certificate. I can send them a copy of a recent email from the company secretary stating, yes, you are an investor with this many shares.
Okay, and then if somebody wants to actually decides to go ahead with the trade, how does that happen? Especially if it's somebody overseas.
Sure. So it's a pretty easy, simple process. We just need to sign a. I have one here. A share transfer form.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's as simple as filling that in. You can't probably see it very well.
No.
That needs a wet ink signature from the buyer and the seller.
Right.
So where I've done this before, where possible, I've met up and we do it over a coffee, and then the forms get posted off. Where that's not viable, then I send them a copy by email with instructions on how to fill it in. They then post it to me, and then I then sign it and post it off to Australia.
Right. Okay. And what happens about the actual payment? Because you want to get paid, and they want to receive the share certificates. How do you negotiate that over distance?
So I have sold a few shares to friends and clients over the last couple of years, just a few, and where I've known them, and obviously, we're friends, so there's trust there. We fill the form in the day that I post it, which that's then I can't take that back. So the day that I post it, they pay me the money. That's how we've done that. However, in this situation, the person isn't necessarily going to know me. We're not going to know each other. So, so what we do then is use an escrow service. So we would fill the form in, either meet up or do it by post, send it off to Australia, and they would pay the escrow service the money, and the escrow service would only release that money to me when the escrow service had received the share certificate.
Right. Okay.
So it's almost like we're using a middleman, a trusted middleman who says, okay, you give me the money, you give me the share certificates, you give me the shares. Okay, I've got both. Are you both happy for me to release them? Yes. Okay, there you go.
Right. Okay. And this sort of international escrow service is as I understand it, is very, very common. It's it's standard business practice across the world.
Yeah.
Do trade and stuff, right? So there's plenty of those around. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. International escrow service. And then can people pay you in Bitcoin, Pirate Chain?
No, unfortunately not. No, they'll have to sell their Bitcoin into good, honest fiat currency.
Good, honest fiat currency? Is there such a thing?
No, there isn't. But still, that's what I'm accepting. Good, dishonest fiat currency.
Well, poor, dishonest fiat currency, but it's all we got, right? So they can pay you in Australian dollars or Canadian dollars or US dollars or
sure.
whatever, right? And then you'd negotiate the price during the negotiations. It goes to the escrow service. And then then the escrow service has got the share certificate and the money. They pass the share certificate on to the buyer and they pass the money on to you. And I suppose they take a little cut themselves for their expenses.
Yes, but I'll cover that.
Oh, okay. But now hold on. You'll cover that even if I'm, because I want some of these, right? But that doesn't mean you should. I want some of these. But even if I'm going to buy like half a share or something, you're going to cover that whole cost. Surely there's going to be some minimum, right, to be worth your while.
You can't have half a share. You'll have to have a whole share.
A whole share, and you're still going to good.
I actually was told that there's a 10-share minimum that is set by ComputerShare, who issue all share certificates in Australia.
Right.
But I've since been told that that's actually not the case, and that the minimum is actually only 1 share.
Okay, so, but do you have a minimum yourself? Because otherwise, do you really want to be dealing with 100 inquiries for 1 share?
Not really. I suppose 10 shares ideally would be the minimum, but we can work it out. If we have a conversation and someone begs me and says I only have enough for 5 shares, then I'm sure we can figure something out.
Okay, all right. Anything else that you want to let people know, or anything we've missed out that's important?
Yeah, we should probably at least mention the earning potential.
Yes.
So you're buying a share at 935 Australian dollars, which roughly is about £500. Let's not do things roughly. Let's do it properly. 935 divided by 1.74, which is today's exchange rate, £537. If you're in the UK.
But that could change, right? If the price of the share changes or something.
Yes, the price of the shares will go up. It's due to go up again shortly, or I've been told that there's an email coming shortly saying shares have now been traded at over $1,000. But until I receive that, I'm still happy to sell them at 935. And yes, the exchange rate fluctuates all the time, only minorly. So
sure.
Yeah, we'll use the exchange rate on the day that they make the transfer. Anyway, in terms of the projections, this is all on the website as well. So you'd be buying a share today at $935. Star's own projections for their dividend income or dividend payout is that in 7 years' time, they expect dividends to start in 2 years, by the way, 2 to 3 years. And in 7 years' time, they expect dividends to be $7,000 per share. That is to say, you would earn an annual dividend of $7,000 for every share that you own, that you could buy today for $935. Ernst & Young were involved in a 6-month due diligence process, and their own projections for Star's dividends is $10,000 to $12,000 in 10 years' time. So it's massive numbers. Massive.
That's almost that's like crypto. That's extraordinary.
But it's something that's tangible and real. I mean, in today's market of high, economic, outlook of high inflation, higher interest rates, and
higher energy costs from hydrocarbons and renewables,
and falling stocks and bonds. It's a real tangible asset that, frankly, that's the kind of thing you want to be hanging on to. You want to be selling your shares, selling your bonds if you have any, and get some energy shares, utility shares. That's gold and silver, tangible commodities. So it's a stock in a company, but it's a company who is all about energy and providing cheap, renewable, sustainable energy.
Yep. And the whole world lives on energy. We have what we have because of energy. So I saw a comment the other day that what net zero looked like is life before the Industrial Revolution. That's what net zero looks like, right? Horse-drawn carriages. We're not going to go back to that because of the way that we live our lives. And so Hero could play a really important role.
It will.
Access to cheap, affordable, renewable energy. That is fabulous. Anything else you want to let us know, Alex?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered the basics.
Yeah, well, look, I will have the links in the description below.
Right.
And I've just had an idea for another video on this. And people watching, do check it out. And if you are serious, please don't waste my mate's time. But if you are serious, like, okay, you do want to know more, have a look at Alex's website, cr.investgreen.info. I'll link to that in the description below. Go through it. If you want more information, schedule a call, get in touch with him. And if this is something that you want to put some money down for, well, then you can work that out with him. Then the other thing I want to say is we're going to do the video. Watch out for the videos about silver and also about why you should take your children out of school if you want them to have an education. All right, Alex, thank you so much. It's been really great talking to you. Everybody, please share this video, spread this video, let people know about this. Comments, questions in the description below. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits. This is Crypto Rich and Alex the Hero signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Electricity is an important part of our shared future. Our lives are powered by it, but we need a quick and effective way to kick the world's carbon habit. Imagine if there was a way to do that right now. Say hello to our hero, the Hydrogen Energy Release Optimizer. Hero is a new energy source that we discovered right here in our Australian lab. It's powered by hydrogen, the most abundant element in the world. Hydrogen and oxygen are fed into the Hero system, where they interact with a secret catalyst to generate heat. This heat is used in different ways to create zero-emission energy. Hero rapidly reaches temperatures in excess of 700 degrees Celsius, meaning it will efficiently meet baseload and peak power demands. This permanent source of heat is flameless and completely safe. Its safety and scalability mean a Hero system can be installed anywhere from power plants to new housing developments. It will also drive desalination and industrial processes like air conditioning and drying. With political and industry support, we can solve the world's energy challenges and put Australia at the forefront of the hydrogen economy. Limitless power, zero emissions.